What's up, what's up, JP in the house. Okay, if you're watching this, if you see anything under the board, these kids come in here and they grab the markers and they write all on the board, on the wall, so I just let them do it, I don't care. I guess it makes them feel like they're at home. But anyway, I want to talk about something that's very important. I think everyone can actually change your life in one day. I talk to a lot of my friends, and they're always talking about was that they're always talking about all these things and how you have to go through this process of, you know, changing yourself and doing this and doing that, and it just takes years and months and hours and stuff. But I believe there's an instant change that we can make, and I've been thinking about it, and this is what I've come up with. Okay, the normal person in today's society is pretty much we're all programmed, okay, and these programs that we go through that we have, they're how can I say they are constructed. It's very easy, and it's based on the fact that um, we control our flow of hormones and things like that, which causes what they call what is termed emotions. Okay, um, we have these definitions. Let's say for like adrenaline, they say adrenaline is caused by stress and by um, uh, uh, sudden whatever whatever the definition is and stuff like that. But stress, if you really think about what stress is nothing more than, how can I say? It's nothing more than pressure, okay? And this pressure is built up inside, but this pressure is not some invisible pressure. It's actually your organs or your muscles, or you putting strain on your muscles by the flow of I'm just going to say adrenaline and stuff like that that's going through your body and things like that. Adrenaline, they say it's involuntarily, um, we don't have control over something. I believe that's it, but don't quote me on that. But actually, adrenaline is voluntarily released and it's an involuntary release, and you do have control over it. And most of the emotions and things that goes on in your life that causes you to do things is due to your voluntarily releasing of your adrenaline. Okay, when adrenaline flows, I kind of did a little research on it, and then a friend of mine who's a nurse told me about it. That when adrenaline flows, there's this hormone called endorphins, and these endorphins go through your body and it makes you feel good. But endorphins is a mild form of uh, morphine, and we all know what morphine is used to kill pain. So if adrenaline flows and then endorphins, which is a painkiller, flows with it, then I'm only led to believe that when adrenaline flows and it energizes your body and charges your body up and stuff like that, or stresses or make your body, your muscles do more than what it's supposed to do, than it's normally supposed to do, then it also um, creates this pain in your body, and you don't feel the pain because of the endorphins. And the endorphins, I guess it's a painkiller. It makes you feel good because it's just a natural mild form that of morphines that's just produced in your body. So, with this said, what goes on is in our minds is that somewhere, sometime, people have come to figure this out, or I believe that it's already been figured out, and just the people got a hold to the material, read about it, and they're using it to pretty much make people just be stupid or whatever. So here's a situation that all guys can pretty much, uh, how can I say, pretty much understand. So you have the situations like this, okay? First, you have a situation. You have situation. I'll just say a situation. then based on that situation, you come to a conclusion. And the conclusion is more than likely an irrational conclusion, and it's going to probably be the most, um, the worst possible case, okay? And it's something that you think of. Let me stop. I made this video, and I wonder if I could do that. Wow. Anyway, I made another video, which I'm gonna put up also. It's only 9 minutes, and I had a class. Um, we discussed this in one of my adult classes, and it was only two people, a guy, college student, and a woman. She's like in her 40s and got kids and stuff. And we talked about this, and I just asked them different situations and how they would feel, and I mean, exactly what I'm saying, what I'm going to say now, they said, "Yep, that's how it works," and it was really interesting. And I recorded it. Well, I thought I recorded it, but I forgot to push the record button and stuff. And it was really cool, but I don't think we'll be able to do that again. But I'll see if I can make some other videos doing this. But you guys can do this yourself and see if anything that I'm saying is correct. So guys, I hope you guys can see this. I hope you guys can see what I wrote. My writing is really bad. Sorry, I should have been more considerate. Okay, so number one situation, you see a guy, he's standing with his girl, and she fine, whatever fine really supposed to mean. And across the street there is a guy, and he's looking in their direction. So this guy is actually probably looking at a store or a poster or something that's behind them, and not necessarily looking at them. And what probably more than likely happened was that they actually probably walked into this guy's view. Okay, so then the guy looks at the other guy looking towards them, and he comes to a rational conclusion that this guy is checking out his girl, and he's gonna say, "Oh, this guy's checking on my girl. He wanna do this to my girl, and he wanna take my girl." And the worst possible situation that basically this guy's biggest fears are what's coming up, and he's saying that's it. That has to be it. Okay. Then he he thinks of a reaction based on his irrational conclusion that this guy wants his girl. So he's going to say, well, this guy wants my girl, so I'm going to go over there and I'm going to do this and I'm going to do that and I'm going to do this. Now, at this stage, it's okay because you still have a chance to retract. You really have a chance to retract and reclaim your sanity. But what happens is, in number three, you think of your reaction, you get ready and you set it. It's like you construct this routine or this action. And right there, it's okay because it's not fuel. But what happens is, number four, when you release the adrenaline, and the adrenaline is like a fuel. And so, like if you put electricity, stick a socket in the wall to turn on a fan, and you got your finger in there, the fan is not going to be considerate of your finger because your finger might get hurt. It's going to turn on and spin because that's what it was built to do. And so you create this action, this reaction that you're going to go over there and do whatever you're going to do to this guy. And when you release this adrenaline and it goes through your body, then that's it. It goes through your body. Your body's just going to do that reaction because you already set it to do that. And what happens is the endorphins flow with it. And when the endorphins flow with it, it makes you feel good. It makes you feel good. And see, this is where a lot of the problems happen. Okay, well, let me finish. And it makes you feel good. So then when you run over there and you start doing what you're doing, you have to remember, adrenaline kind of makes you, it kind of like turns off your mind, and puts you in a daze, like you're almost like about to faint and stuff. And, how can I say? And also you're feeling good. So while you're doing this, you hurting this person or whatever, and then 2 or 3 minutes you finish, and then you look at what happened, you're like, oh my God, I can't believe I did that, and then the feeling is good, and the drilling is gone, and you're like, and you're like, oh my God, I can't believe I went too far, and blah, 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 blah. Okay, and the result is a criminalizing result, and basically the criminalizing result, I'm not necessarily saying it's a crime, but basically what it is the foundation of the act that you did was a crime against yourself. Okay, and basically you just did something that was probably totally unnecessary, and it was detrimental to your physical status as a human. Okay, so let me go through this a little bit so I can kind of like um, explain it. Okay, so the guy with the situation, he saw the girl, the guy looking at his girl. Now, what we are taught and we're programmed because of these TV shows we watch, these cartoons, our kids, and things like that. They're totally programmed with these five. With these 5 steps, but they're like in a little chip or whatever, and it's plugged in. And every chip has these 5 steps, but also they're still networking, so you can get to like number 3, and go down here, and it'll change to another situation, and it'll just compound something and complicate it even more. It's not like one step. It's just you just got all kinds of stuff just connected to all of this and things like that. And so the irrational conclusion was that this guy really don't know what this guy is really looking at. Okay, and for him, the best thing to do would be to ignore it, or he can go over there and say, "Hey, how you doing? Excuse me. Is there something I can help you with?" And of course, we don't do this, okay, because we're taught the program that in this situation, you're supposed to think this irrational conclusion and have this irrational reaction, and you're supposed to fuel the reaction, and then you're supposed to go on and commit this crime so we can take you and toss you in jail or do whatever we want to. But the rational thing to do is go over there and ask the guy. Now, of course, you're gonna have some people who are maybe want to commit a crime and stuff like that. But in this story, the guy is not worrying about this guy committing a crime. The guy is worrying about a thought that he thinks that this guy want his girl and stuff like that. And he goes through the whole step, and then he ends up in jail or whatever, and then they'll ask him, well, why did you do that? And the guy says, well, he was looking at my girl. And then they'll say, these psychiatrists and stuff, they playing with the guy and like, oh my God, he got another fool. And they're like, well, how do you know what he was looking at? Did you ask him? No, but still, he said, no, you can't just do that. You can't just, hurt someone based on what you think without any proof. And so they end up asking the guy, well, what were you looking at? He said, oh, well, behind him there was this picture of new jobs or whatever. And he said, I didn't even notice them, because more than likely, a lot of people don't really notice these, notice them and stuff like that. I've noticed, couples together and stuff. And I'm saying that all the time, but I'm just saying this particular situation. And so then the guy was like, "Oh my God, so I was wrong, whatever." But then again, in that situation, they also got you programmed where he can say, come to a rational conclusion, which is, well, I don't care. That's what I thought, and he'll come to a conclusion in his head that, well, I don't care. And then his reaction based on his irrational conclusion of I don't care is to speak out and say he don't care and he's bad and nobody better not do that. And then he releases adrenaline accompanied by endorphins, and he said with pride and confidence, "Yeah, I don't care. He shouldn't have been there. He should have turned his head when he saw it. So he deserved what he got, because I know what he was doing. You can't tell me he was looking at something else and blah blah blah, and then you got another strike against him, So that's what I'm saying. They got these links and stuff, and the dude gets in trouble. But the whole thing about all of this, is that we are, and I think I kind of forgot some, but I hope that I'll remember it. But this is how we're programmed, okay? And when even in like the slavery and stuff like that, you still got these same programs in which you're conditioned to believe that's what you're doing. And we're also, that's what it is. We've been taught that, hey, if you if you feel good about something that you think and it's the right thing. We've been taught that our feelings are instruments of judgments. Okay, our instruments of judgments. And that's where we make a mistake, because your feeling is nothing more than that endorphins, which is killing pain, that's probably caused by the rush of the adrenaline that's actually making your body do more, or your organs or whatever, muscles and stuff, do more than what they're supposed to be doing or whatever. And that's all that feeling is doing, is just blocking the pain and making you feel good. But we've been taught that the feeling is judgmental. So if you feel it, then it's okay to do it. And that's where we make our mistakes. And then we do this action. So basically what it is, um, and they use it as a motivation also. Your feelings is a motivation. Your feelings is motivation. So that's what I was using this word confidence. If you know it, if you believe it, then you can do it. But whether you believe it or not, it doesn't matter, because if you don't have the knowledge to do it, then you're not going to do it. And you can believe all you want, and that's why I stopped with religion and stuff like that, because it's all based on some emotion. But I know that these emotions is nothing but the flowing of different kinds of emotions, and hormones and stuff like that. So that's why a lot of stuff I've stopped. And I think I thought about this recently, maybe a few months ago, and it's really interesting, because even just to get out of bed, you wake up in the morning, you say, okay, I got to go to work, and then the irrational conclusion is you don't want to go to work, and so your reaction is, I want to stay in bed, but But you got here, number one, it starts over. The situation, the situation is, I must get up. I must get up. Okay? And then you have another two. Let's say the irrational conclusion is, I don't know. You can think of whatever you want to think of, but it still goes through the result. And the number five is, more than likely you get up, and then criminalizing or the bad action, whatever, is that you get up all angry and stuff because you have to go to work, But the reaction is you have to get up. But the only way you can get up is by something perking you to get up, or prodding you to get up. And so that's what you're going to do. You're going to release the adrenaline. It's going to get the morphines up. You're like, and you get up. Darn it, go to work. I hate going to work. And you're saying all like negative stuff that you shouldn't be saying and stuff. And then you go to work and stuff. You got a bad attitude or whatever, and it just keeps going. And it just keeps going, and all these things, just keep going and going and going. So, basically, I want to really make this as short as I can. Basically, what's going on is, this is what's happening in our children's minds. This is what happened in our minds and everything. Basically, this is your head, okay, something like that. Okay, something. And I drew a black person on purpose and stuff. But anyway, in your head, you got these chips, these programs. And these programs are, some are interconnected, some not. And basically, we're just doing this. It's almost like if you're a video game. And basically, um, that's what is going on in your head. And uh, the best way to get rid of those things is first you have to understand. Now, if I didn't explain this clearly, then let me know and I can try again. Okay, I can make another attempt. But basically, what it is when you're watching cartoons, because see, you have to understand that a lot of us really haven't been taught how to be a human. We haven't been taught how to actually think, and we haven't actually been taught what naturally we are doing. Okay, if you want to see what a human being is supposed to be like, then you watch a baby. From the time the baby's a newborn baby till the baby starts to till maybe one. Okay, and that's when the baby's standing and everything. A baby is always investigating, always looking, always trying, always doing this and things, and that's what you're supposed to be doing. But because we're always being programmed, um, we've got these programs put inside of us that we never get a chance to let our natural conditions or situations happen. If you stop thinking, if you really stop, and I call it active thinking, but active thinking is just this, your regular brain comes to a point where, okay, well now I have, I got this void in my mind where I have to occupy it with something to do. So you have, your natural tendency is to investigate, to learn. That's naturally what we are. What we are. We just learners and stuff like that, and build things and stuff like that. But instead of doing that, people say, "Well, I don't know what to do." But then the mind says, "Well, why don't you study mathematics?" And then you're like, "Oh, I don't want to do that." Because we're programmed. Situations, study math, irrational conclusion, I don't like math. But if you never studied it and if you never understand it, if you don't know the vocabulary, you can't, it's impossible to not like math if you understand the vocabulary. It's impossible to dislike it. It's impossible. Okay, because you do math, you are math, all this stuff. I mean, basically everything you're studying is just an outside version of what your body does anyway. So the irrational conclusion is, I don't like math, and then the reaction that you think of is, forget that, I ain't doing it. You release the adrenaline to, you think in your mind, I ain't gonna do it, and your hands fly up in the air or whatever. Then you release the adrenaline, and that's exactly what your body does. And then you like, whatever, and you criminalizing instead. You just wasted some time to learn something where had you studied for an hour and you walked outside, you could have ran into somebody where y'all can do some networking and made $1 billion, okay? Because actually $1 billion is not that difficult to make, because if other people can make it, you can make it also. And so that's what's going on. So basically what it is if we were to just stop actively thinking or actively searching for these chips that's in our heads and just kind of just relax, and then something comes to you. Okay, this is really interesting too, because we have an idea that we want to do in our minds, and because we were taught that um, our feelings are the true judgment, then you're going to make a judgment. You're going to say, okay, I have to do my homework. And so you're waiting for your feelings to give you this acknowledgement that, yes, that's what you have to do, and go do it. But you don't do that. And that's like you got all these college kids. See, because one thing is, like, they say, well, okay, why is it that college kids, white kids do drugs and they don't go to jail, but black kids do drugs and they go to jail? Well, truthfully, the fact is that most of these white kids that's going to jail are college students, and they're making money for the institutions and whatever. And all the black kids that are doing drugs, they're not in college and they're not contributing to the economy. Okay, and these white kids are by going to school and their parents paying this money. So if these cops toss these kids, which a lot of them are university students and stuff, in jail, then the university won't get the money from the parents and this, and it'll cause this tumbling thing. But if they toss black people in jail because they're not going to college and anything like that, then not only um, is the economy not affected the way it would be if white kids were tossed in jail, but they get these white kids' parents to pay for them to jail these black kids based on, whatever with the whole story, based on really nothing. Okay, and it's just these tactics to keep this money flowing and stuff. Um, and it's really interesting because I had a video about the money thing too, and it all falls into the same thing. And so basically, if you want to get down to the nitty gritty, pretty much that's it. If you throw white kids in jail, then it's going to take money from the colleges, which is going to take money from the communities, which is going to take money from this and that and this and that, and eventually these institutions that's making all this money, they're going to lose this money because no one is coming in and stuff. And maybe that's probably why the United States changed a lot of the rules and stuff about the money, and the banks can't do this. I don't know. It's really interesting. I don't want to start speculating and stuff, but if you want to really get down to the nitty gritty, that's pretty much what it is. Okay, and then you can add on that they trying to do genocide and stuff like that, which basically is what this is what happens. Anyway, the genocide thing, that's another story, but let me talk about it since I talked about it. Is basically that's what happened. When you go out there and you commit a crime, you get tossed in jail, then you are committing genocide against yourself because the crime that you are committing is a crime criminalizing. And what I mean by the criminalizing result is that you're putting yourself in a position where another entity could come and make you dysfunctional, okay, and make your body dysfunctional. In other words, you're going to be your ability to your mobile ability will be disconnected, okay, and whatever, however you want to think about it, you can think about it. And that's what happens. And when you put yourself in a position where you're not able to reproduce yourself, then you are committing, especially if you're doing it, then you're committing genocide. If somebody else does it, that means they're committing genocide. And the genocide basically is just your gene will not be able to survive and move on and move on and move on. And basically that's all genocide pretty much is. Now you can, of course, you got the bigger forms where they trying to kill all black people off and all that. Sure, they might be, and they doing the same thing with everybody else when they own people or whatever, because these people got a master plan, and everyone is abiding by it because of these steps that they're doing. So to turn all this stuff off, basically you have to just stop thinking, just stop thinking and say, okay, what do I need to do next? And you also have to remember is that we always had this motivation thing. What motivates us? What motivates me? What motivates us? Well, your biggest motivation, we always say is our feelings. But like I said, your feelings is not an instrument of judgment at all. All your feelings are is just these, well, for as far as endorphins, it's just a painkiller. Then you might have these other ones that sensationalize your body, and you might become aroused sexually. And sexually just means that um, it's just you have a female arousement and you got a male arousement. And then if you do have sex and stuff like that, that's just a natural thing in life, but a lot of people understand that they got some genes that are just more dominant than other genes, and so then once they understand that, then they try to separate it. And, the ones with the weaker genes are going to say, well, we got the stronger genes and this, da da da, because they're programming this stuff in these kids, and then you when you're a young and stuff, and it's really easy. But it's really, like I said, it's really easy to break. So um, so you have to understand is that your feelings is not a motivational tool. Okay, it's not a judgmental tool. It's nothing. Okay, the only thing it does, like I said, it feels good because it got to be feel good, I guess, because of the pain. Because it just doesn't. I don't think things just work just the way it does. Now, you can eat fruit and it goes to your body and it energizes you. And sometimes you can get aroused. Like I used to eat mangoes in the Philippines and I was like ready to go. But if you exercise and eat properly, your body is just going to be activated because there's a lot of stuff in our bodies that's dormant. I wouldn't say dormant, but that's pretty much not doing anything because of the um, the flow of the different things in our body that's not doing what they're supposed to do and stuff like that. But the greatest, I asked on my Facebook, what is the greatest motivation or the only motivation you need? And the only motivation that you need to do something is knowing. Knowing. Okay? If you know you're supposed to do it, then you do it. And that's the only motivation you have. And when you think about it like that, there's no feelings attached to it. There's no emotional flows going through it. There's no adrenaline. There's nothing. The only thing it is that you need to do is send a signal to your muscles to make your muscles move on their own. One day I was in my bed and I was thinking about that and I said, okay, I'm going to get up without, this release of adrenaline and endorphins. And it took me about a good 5 minutes to actually get up without get up, like the whole, based on the adrenaline stuff. And it took a while for me to say, wow, I'm thinking about, I want to move my legs, but they're not really moving. They're kind of being a little slow. And I was like, whoa, this is a little freaky, you know. And when I get up, I'm like, okay, I want to get up. And we're so used to the flow of adrenaline and stuff like that. You're like, wow. So then you think about it, you're like, okay, so you start moving. Like now, I'm thinking about, okay, I want to stand up, so I need to stand up. But now I'm thinking about it because I'm talking and stuff. And also, another thing that releases a lot of your adrenaline is like when you're speaking in the with bass. I made a video before about bass, and when you speak in bass with the bass in your voice, it really does push your organs so everything gets to flowing at the same time. There's this video on World Star, something like that. Where this girl, some white girl was in a car and her boyfriend turned the bass on real loud, and she had an orgasm on herself, and it happened twice. And she was listening to it, and she was like, oh my God, I think I had an orgasm. And then he was like, what? And he's not even paying attention to what she's saying. And then I guess he turned it back up again. She goes, oh my God, I think I did it again. And I was like, whoa, because my friend sent it to me, and the reason he sent it to me was because I told them, because these guys are talking about pick up women. And I was laughing. I said, because the best way to pick up women is to walk over there and ask them, hey, let's go. But when you ask them, the situation is you want to ask the girl to be with you. But her irrational, the situation, the guy walk up to the girl, he asks her to be with him. But then the irrational conclusion is based on, it could be based on a lot of stuff, that, because, guys do bad things to women and stuff. But the irrational conclusion is, oh, this guy, he just harassed me, and based on that, she's gonna say whatever she's gonna do and da 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 and da da da, and the guy, could have been her soulmate. You know what I'm saying? Because people don't take the time to communicate, and this is what's really bad. There's no communication, and when people do try to communicate, it automatically go to the situation again. Situation. And the situation is communication. Communication. I hope you guys can read this. My handwriting is terrible. Okay, let me write this because this is important. Communication. Is communication number one. Number two, we've been taught irrational is don't talk to strangers. Okay, but it could be two white guy and a white girl, and everyone does this. Whether they Jewish, Christian, all the religions, it doesn't even matter. Everyone does this, and uh, then the number three is this, that, And so before you even get to, you have this situation. A lot of times before you can even get to the to mess yourself over, you way over here, and that's what this is even happens in a regular conversation. You talk about one thing, and then people will take one word from this situation. They'll take one word and they'll create their own number two. Is he is GS. GS is crazy. Okay, and then they'll have their own number three, and you're creating your own script, and you've been taught that, and it's I'm telling you, it's really screwed up. So when you start thinking about, you guys really should just get a paper and start writing this, and just see how screwed up your thinking really is. But the whole thing is, knowing is the only motivation that you need to do anything. If you know you're supposed to do it, then do it. Why do you have to drug yourself to do something? And that's all you're doing. That's all we're doing. These cops, when they see a black guy, they say, up, situation, black guy. Conclusion, he's a criminal. The reaction is, I'm going to go over there and beat him up. Then he get to reach to the drilling, he go over there and beat him up. Criminalizing result is the black guy's messed up. The white guy's messed up. He goes to jail. But the cop, it depends if he's black or white or whatever, But if he's a white guy, the situation is mistake. Okay, if he's a white cop, and number 5, criminalizing is he's free. Freedom, no problem. But if it's a black cop situation again, you guys see that? Oh, you guys can see. Let me move that over here. Okay, sorry. So the white cop situation, mistake. Number 2, freedom. We go through the process, legal process, right, and stuff. The black cop situation, black cop, mistake. No. See, you gotta have these words. Mistake, black cop, what is it? Crime, black. The result. Number 5 is fired. Fired or jail. Oops, that's supposed to be a J. Jail or now. I'm trying to be funny, but no. Black cops too. That happens to some of them, not a lot of them. It just depends on who the. I shouldn't even be crossing in front, but sorry, I'm crossing in front. But it just depends on who the judge is and the who is it called, the area they're in and things like that. But when you make your own map about your own life and just see how screwed up it is, and then you make a map about knowing. Number 1, knowing. Situation, knowing, knowing. Study, math. And then number two is going to be a conclusion. Conclusion. What's going on right? Yeah. Conclusion based on the situation is take time to understand the terms and everything, and basically just get a dictionary. Tell me, get a dictionary. Math will, whatever, and you just do the. You don't even have to really do the problems. Just keep doing the example problems over and over about 10 times, and you'll see within the examples that they got substitutions and blah blah blah. Like I'm always talking on my Facebook and sometimes in it's rarely in my videos. Yeah, some of my videos too. And when you do this step, number two is going to be a reaction. A reaction is going to be understanding. And then number 4, this here won't happen. You won't have to release it, or if you do release it, it's going to be because you understand, and it's going to be a good thing. Okay, so here, number 3 is going to be a reaction. The reaction is going to be understanding. Understanding. Put the comma there. I mean the dash there. Understanding. Then number 4 is going to be the release of, it could be adrenaline and endorphins, which is going to be excitement. Excitement, you know, because you understand. And number 5, the result is going to be the love of life. Okay? And when you do this, I'm sorry, can you guys see this? Let me see if I can see it one more time. Okay, so here, if you do it because you're knowing, then knowing is what? Study math. Okay? And then, where am I supposed to be going? This way. Okay, knowing. And then number 2, the conclusion is take time to understand. Use a dictionary. Number 3, the reaction is going to be your understanding. Then number 4 is going to be down here, adrenaline and endorphins, because you're going to get excited. And when you get excited, you get pressure, and it's going to release everything. So not only adrenaline might be flowing, but other kind of hormones or whatever is going to be flowing through your body, and it's going to cause your body to become excited. Oh, I understand! You're like, yeah, I understand. Yeah, boy, this is easy. Huh? Yeah, you the shit, man. You the shit, bro. Yeah, see, I know you had it inside you. Man, see, all you had to do is just open the dictionary, man, and you could have done it, man. Yeah, okay. Next. Physics. Yeah. I got your number, physics. Yeah, I ain't no fool. See? Man, so I'm the homie. Yeah, boy. Yeah. Well, yeah, what do you like? You like that? Huh? Yeah, I did it. Yeah. Huh? You know, so that's the excitement that you might have. Okay? And then the result is, yeah, I'm the man now. I got vision. I'm going to go help my people. I'm going to help myself. Yeah, ain't no more jail time for me. I ain't going to be no sucker. Nobody's fool. I ain't even going to fool myself no more. So, this is what happens. And when you do this by knowing, it's a positive construction. Now, of course, I'm not saying that you won't have problems, but what you can do is you can start here. Let's see. Go up to here. Yeah, I guess you guys see that. And you can, number 1, situation, teach, inform, and show others this free programmed thinking. Okay? Then, number 2, conclusion. Huh? That's all spelling stuff. Conclude. Huh? I'm thinking so much, can't even think. Conclusion is watch GS350JPN video about this in groups and discuss your own theories and how you guys can work together and things like that, because I'm telling you, I'm telling you, what's going on is this. This here is what's going on in each and one of all of our minds. It don't even matter. This is what's going on. You have, it's like you got two brains. You know, you got one here, and you got one here is knowing, knowinga, and then you got another part here, programmed, programmed. Maybe that's how I break it up. You can't even read the It's supposed to say program. Okay, here. Let me I didn't mean to erase that, but oh well. Here, you got your head, and it's like you got this one, and it's divided. You got one, knowinga. Oops. Knowinga. And you hear programmed. Programmed. Can you guys even see that writing? Programmed. Phonics there. Programmed in Japanese. Programmed in English. Ta-da! And see, that's your mind. Ta-da! Ha ha ha. And basically, this is what you're doing. This side is winning. This side is losing. Okay, but it's easy to get rid of that. Okay, because you get rid of that by motivation. By the, can you read that on the top? Motivational modes or moods. Maybe modes is better. One, no, winga, and two, feelings, or I should say, hormones. Hormones. Okay, get rid of this. Do this by knowing. Here, you need absolutely no hormones. You don't need it. Kids study. They fall asleep. Why do they fall asleep? Because they're programmed that if they don't know it, then they can just immediately shut down their minds and blah, 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 blah. Goes to, they have this attention deficit disorder, whatever it's supposed to call. The reason these kids are acting crazy and stuff in school is because of this. They're in school, they're taught situation in class, irrational conclusion, I'm a fool, I can't do it, blah, blah, blah. And then they just, like the other day I was in Yale teaching these 7th graders and a 4th grader, and they're really smart now. But two of the girls, she's like blowing the boys away, and they're like stuck on dumb. I can't do this. And one of the kids actually got up and laid on the floor, was all shaking and stuff. I'm like, man, this kid crazy. But then I understand this. It's basically what it is he got a situation. He came to some basic irrational conclusion based on whatever. But this here, when he came to this here, I guess in 1, 2, 3, this here, the feelings came in, and it was a judgment. Okay, so number 2, I guess his irrational conclusion is my feelings are telling me no, don't study, and this is what I should do. And because he had this feeling, his natural reaction was, okay, well, I want to resist, so I'm just going to get on the floor. Then he got on the floor, started shaking. Number 4, got on the floor, releasing his adrenaline. He was down there just shaking like he was having a seizure or something like this, spazzing out and stuff. And see, this is what goes on in the classroom also. You can't say that white people don't teach black kids or they hate black kids. Whether they hate black kids or not, it doesn't matter, because a lot of these teachers are actually trying to do something, but you got these kids who are just screwed up in the head, and some of these teachers they put their heart and their soul, because racism isn't nothing that you can just come straight out and say, okay, we're going to be a racist country and whatever, because people are not necessarily programmed. I mean, naturally, we're not like that. Okay, so um, you can't do that. You just can't. I mean, if you walk up to a white person, I mean, like I said in some of my other videos, I run into some white guys who probably in the States were probably racist. I don't know, but they get over here and they're out of that environment, and they're in an environment where they don't have that support, and they might hate black people, whatever, but they'll go to a club, and some of them, they go to their own clubs, because they got their little support, and black guy walk in there, and they might all walk over, in Japan, five white guys walking over to a brother who happened to walk in with a white girl who's um, lonely and wants some attention from a man, but is not getting it because all the white guys are chasing all the Japanese women, because the Japanese women want some attention from a man because the Japanese guys, or enough Japanese guys isn't giving it to them or aren't giving it to them, because the Japanese men understand how they women are. Say, hey, like, forget it. I'd rather just go on and play some PSP with all my money instead of, having a family working like my dad did. Get old, wife starts having sex, after I was born, and all he does is work, come home, mom dressing nice and blah blah blah, and she's pimping, she's training the daughter to be a pimp, and I guess my wife might be like that too. And I see with my father, I ain't doing this, get old, and then after the wife, get a certain amount of money or go online and make her own money. She divorced her husband, and he still got to pay money, and he just broke it down, and the guy, had to go to the park, to visit his father. All kinds of crazy stuff is going on out here, and in all these other countries too, And but then the white guys, I guess, the white guys that come up to the white girl probably, I don't know for what reason they doing it. I guess they just probably don't have any luck with the Japanese girls. They walk over to the black guy and say, you can't be with her. And the black guy look at him and say, like, what? And then, like, you can't be with her, why? And then, the real black men are like, this is Japan, and I think you guys need to go back to the States with that racist stuff. And they're like, well, you got to leave her. And, it could break out into a fight, whatever, okay, fine. But the brothers are cool. You got some other cool white guys, that's cool and stuff that don't even like that, then you never know. You might say, oh, okay. Then you turn to some white guy and say, you're a racist? He's like, no. I say, come on, get on my team. Come on, we're gonna handle these guys, because all they doing is just cock blocking, because white people cock block white people too, right? And ooh, I said that word. I wonder if I was allowed to say that. But anyway, all they doing is just preventing, natural thing that happen between men and women and stuff, and blah blah blah, blah blah blah, blah blah blah, blah blah blah. And this is this whole cycle just this is networking, just just going all over the place, And the end result is, they wake up the next day and like, oh, that was stupid. I don't know why I did that. Go to work with bruises and scratches and stuff, and the kids looking and stuff, and the guy's like, well, I shouldn't have did that. But then, that emotional flow comes. Well, at least I feel good. But feeling good is not always a reason to commit something that's detrimental or that's holding you back and stuff. So basically, this is it. Now, I want to talk about this knockout game and stuff. They saying like it's propaganda and stuff like this. Well, you guys know that America pretty much has been taken over by, I guess, Jewish people and stuff. And they created this system. Black people were slaves, and they could have gotten out of it. Sometimes, there was a lot of warriors who jumped off the boat, because they knew who these white people were, and they weren't about to bow down to some people who weren't at their level educationally and strengthly and all this stuff, whatever, however they got caught or whatever, And the same thing happened in slavery, They could have just easily went over to the slave masters while he was in there sleeping and burnt the house down, and one person, you could take 2 or 3 people on each plantation to do that, and they could have all that stuff could have been done, you take out the leaders and just start taking them out, and stuff like that. So you take out the leaders and stuff, and those masters and stuff, and things would have changed because it would have been this and that, and maybe they would have just come over. It's all right. Well, we're just going to exterminate all black people, and that could have happened. I mean, basically it's happening in a lot of these countries where a lot of slave populations were, and extermination could be mixing and stuff like that, and just make sure psychologically you got the light-skinned kids coming out with this kind of on your team here, and because they're high on their own hormones, that they're gonna believe everything, instead of doing like here, because well, I'm a light skinned brother, you know, and okay, and look at my skin, I mean, I am brown, so I can say I'm a light-skinned brother, even though when you look at me, I'm dark. But there are a lot of people darker than me, and I can say, well, I'm a light-skinned brother. I mean, look at me. I can say, yeah, I'm a light-skinned brother. And I'm sure a lot of you guys are laughing, but I am light. But in America, I was darker. So actually, I'm fading. I got leprosy, right? Okay. So anyway, you got brothers like me. Say I'm a light-skinned brother, and I got this kind of life, and I don't care about them other dark people and stuff like that because my genes survive and mine, and I got this advantage because it is, and I got this advantage, so I'm gonna do this. But what the whole thing is, as everybody's mixing and got that attitude, then some other person is going to be lighter than me. Like, I have people in the family that's lighter than me, and then they might come with that attitude, like, wow, I'm lighter than you, bro. I can get more women and this and that, and I can go to school this easier and da 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 and da da da. And then the next thing you know, you're just screwing yourself because it's not even about being lighter than the other person. It's about what you know. And if you don't know anything, if you know something, then the best thing is that you're not going to make your way to where you're supposed to be at without cooperation. So I got this thing that I say I am the most important person on this earth, but in order for me to but I know in order for me to achieve my goals that I must cooperate with others. And basically, you got all of this stuff all mixed in and stuff. So I want to talk about the knockout game and stuff. They're saying it's propaganda and this and that and this and that. Well, if you're real and you understand things, basically America was here. The the Jewish people came up from the South America, and they brought their slaves from South America to here, and the ones that were there, the original black Indians and stuff, and the Indians that were here, you got to read your history if you guys don't know that, and they all became slaves, and then people got traded taken to different areas and stuff. So when they came to America, I guess before the American Revolution down in Louisiana, it was slaves, it was all French, whatever, and eventually what happened was slavery, there was a time where it wasn't, no, slavery was outlawed in the colonies or something like that, and then they persuaded Washington to do it, and then a revolution was caused, and the revolution was actually caused, from what I've been reading, by those Jewish people and stuff that had the money. And I'm not saying all Jewish people, because you look at life and you can say this is fair, that's fair, but had it been blacks or Chinese people or whoever, people in those opportunities, people do that because you can psych yourself into doing this. You can say, well, I mean, I'm not even, this probably just all happened by mistake because somebody got the feeling and they were like got all high off themselves and everybody's just doing this. So that's not the problem. The problem, is that they got a position and they want to get control, and they're doing more and they're doing more and they're just feeding off of this. They're hiding this and it's just going more and more and more. So you got these network companies, talking bad about black people and stuff like that. but we can make our own networks. We got a music. We can do this. I mean, um, we even if they're setting us up, okay, I can understand that because people get set up anyway. I mean, you go to the hood, in L.A. and you got a friend. He was dating some girl, and some dude walked over the house. He opened the door, and dude said, "Are you such and such?" Homeboy like, "Yeah, bam." Almost, seriously injured my friend and stuff. Luckily, he was able to walk again. And we was talking after happy call me. I was like, "Yo, what's up? I'm your boy." So I'm irrational conclusion. Homeboy would have been like, "Yo, let's go get him." And I'm like, "All right, bam," because I have my own ways of doing things too. It's like this book called The Gangster. How the one guy said, he can do it. I'm pretty much like one of those people. And it could have just been all kinds of stuff. Oh my God, you guys see that? Gosh, you guys missed that. Oh my God. I would run over there and show you she was really fashionably dressed. So anyway, um, so basically what's going on is when they watching these news, everyone situation is you want to control people. Irrational conclusion. Well, actually, it's a rational conclusion. And for that one, is to show people an image, and you understand that these people are going to have a certain reaction, release of endorphins, and they're going to think a certain way and stuff like that. What's going on, if they're setting people up, that's been done to all kinds of people, countries. That's nothing new. It's the same people or the same form of people or the same game being played all the time. And the only reason it's even working is because of this, because of this. And also the parents, they're not taking time to do this, the knowing. They're not doing that. And all of that stuff can stop in one day. The one kid said, "Oh, we're doing it because we are bored." But what is bored? They got this definition of boredom and stuff. There's nothing that boredom is to me. It's almost just like being still. And these guys, and these kids know what they're supposed to do. They know what they're supposed to do, but they over here and they program to like, well, you know, don't study, situation study, irrational, don't study, and find a program that's going to make you do something else. You go search for a program, so you can do it, whatever. So they, like I said, these kids are touching this, punching people, and if it happened a year ago, it happened 2 years ago, it really doesn't matter, because it's still going on. These kids still doing this stuff in school. Now you got these Asian kids and these Latino kids, which I don't know why they, I guess kids coming up from the southern countries and stuff, but then I guess America is a southern country compared to Canada too. But anyway, and you even walk out here, it's a lot of stuff going on. You're not nothing compared to the states though, because Japan is like heaven compared to the states. If you're a foreign person, not stuck in this type of thinking, but. But what's going on is the fact that these kids are insulting people. And back in the old days, when you insult people, you were revenged. And you got those like the hillbillies and stuff. They got these family feuds, and it was just based off of something that somebody did that somebody just shouldn't have done. And it goes on for hundreds of years and stuff. I guess it can go on for too many hundreds of years since America is only 200 years old, but a little more than 200, but still, it goes on for generations and stuff. And it's the problem that I see in is basically, I guess what they're trying to do is create this America into a country of peace and happiness. And I guess they're actually what I think is happening there's this how can I say there's this takeover of the American. And America is the land of black people, okay? and the Europeans came over here and suckered everyone because they understood that, and of course, they drugged. I mean, they got everybody all drunk and stuff. So people in drunken state, you can do whatever you want and stuff. There's even the thing in the Bible, I guess, where these guys had their women go and have sex with the men of the enemies, and then when they finished, they came in and slaughtered them and stuff like that. So it's interesting, It really is interesting and stuff. But yeah, that's what I'm thinking is. So basically, what's going to happen is the United States is probably going to be something like a new state for them, I guess. And whoever is not them is going to, you know, be treated however it's supposed to be. And this is what I'm thinking. And but the whole thing is if you are, but actually it is a natural. If you look out into the animal world, it's a natural. How can I say? It's a natural event. Lions. Only one male lion is going to be the one who's going to be able to be the boss. And when the new ones come in, they get rid of the male cubs or all the other cubs and then make his own. And wolves and dogs and cats and everybody, even in the families. It's even within your own family. And it's some crazy stuff that's going on. So basically, I try to, my thinking is I don't really worry about that particular thing because you can't change any of that if you don't know how to go about changing, if you don't know what's wrong with yourself, you know. And these kids going out here and they're putting their hands on you, on them other people, If you were in the street and somebody walked up on you and popped you, and especially if you could catch them and they doing it as a joke, you're going to get ticked. And if you don't think rationally and grab that kid, sit him down and talk to him about like this, if you don't do that, then your reaction is probably going to be less than what they're doing. Now I saw Tariq, I think his name, video when he was talking about the hand with the white gun and stuff like that. That signal has always been throughout history, where um, they're saying a white hand on a white gun, shooting, 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 shooting. And what is that all about? Is it just only is it only directed as to black people? Because there are other whites who don't like other whites, and so who are they actually shooting? And what is it actually for? And I can understand the genocide of young black men and things like that, but when you, I guess back in the 80s and the 90s, I guess I wasn't here too much in the 90s, I think in the 80s, I don't know, I think there was a part in that time where there was a black boom where a lot of black people did make money, but what they didn't do was actually, they created money but they didn't create substance. They didn't create stores and aggressively go after them in the black neighborhoods. There was a time the Black Wall Street actually was making more money than New York Wall Street. And they're making more money, and they was actually going to they considered making, I'm talking to whoever to make Oklahoma a black state or something like that, But from the papers that I read, one guy, something happened and whites were going to go hang him and stuff, and the sheriff didn't let them do it. And but at that time, I believe whites were being hung too, and but they probably don't report all this stuff, because there are some genuinely people in the world, white people too, who just like law and order. And if you get out of order, they're gonna, put it to you and stuff, And these drunk brothers came out there, 19, 18, 19 years old, carried a gun, and I guess one of these white guys, they didn't say how old he was, but because they didn't say how old he was, and he did walk over to the guy and say, "Give me the gun," or something like that. I don't even know if that's true or not, but that's what I read. And they're fighting over the gun. And I'm thinking the guy probably had to been in his 30s or close to his 40s to be able to say something like that to a kid, where he was expecting um, it would to be it was like, to me, it was kind of like a respectful thing with the way he asked. I'm sure he didn't, he didn't say he walked over and punched the dude, or called him a N-word or whatever, but I'm just thinking that he, how can I say that? Uh, I guess there was no fear in the white person. And the brother, I don't know if they were fearing him, but he was, how you say that, intoxicated. Then they fought, the gun went off, and bam, when the gun shoots and go off, people are going to start situation, gunfight. Conclusion, no one's not going to go over there and say, hey, what were you guys doing? The gun blew. Oh, it was a mistake. We were struggling with it. Nobody didn't get hurt, so we can forget it. No, that's not going to happen, And I could use this as justify, no, that's not going to happen. The rational conclusion is, well, actually, the rational conclusion, the gun went off. Nobody don't know what's going on, and based on that, if somebody was trying to shoot us, we got all the right to protect ourselves. Release, go, whatever, result, bam. Something happened and got out of control because, some, situation. And they even said that the people in the black town told the guys not to go over there, because you can't prejudge that I mean, sure, you could say that he's going to get hung or everything, but, I don't know the whole story, but I'm just saying, based on what I read, and the way I looked at it, basically, the sheriff says, if anybody come up these stairs, we're going to shoot this guy, but then maybe this cop knew something about this black kid, that whatever, because he did this investigation, and maybe that white girl and that black guy could have been lovers, and they saying that could happen. But the whole thing is, all this stuff happened, and what happened? The black kid, nothing happened to him. And so it was, and you could say, well, okay, it was because, they diverted it and da 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 and da 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 da. But then you look at it and you say, okay, well, let's say, was a whole town being destroyed and 300 people lives were killed, whatever, worth one person who probably was doing something that he shouldn't have been doing, affairing with the girl or whatever, because when he slipped and he grabbed, people going to always, but there was no proof or whatever, and I'm not saying that you should sacrifice him. I'm not saying that either. But I'm saying is that what happened, but the whole thing was, there was a point in when Black America, I guess if you want to call it that, was richer than that white America. Okay, or I guess the Jewish people were the ones that were running all of that stuff and stuff. But you read it because, like, I watched Tariq's video, and all he was saying was Jewish, 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 Israel, Israel, Jewish, Jewish, Jewish. Black Jewish, black Jewish, black Jewish. So you're thinking, like, what's this black and this Jewish and this relationship is going on? Because that's really something that needs to be addressed, because it's always like they're constantly coming after us. But then when you really read, there's this book. I don't have it. It's in my on my iPhone, and it's recording now also. But I think this is recording pretty good, so I guess I could stop it. I'm going to find it. Sorry. It's this book this brother wrote about how these American universities were built based on slavery, because of the slave owners who had the money were sending their kids to these colleges in the United States instead of sending them back to England. And during that time, there was only one university in the South, but like 9 or 6 of them up north and stuff like that. And so he was like, giving his ideas and stuff, saying that it was because of slavery that can't find it. I have no idea where it's at. It was because of slavery that built it, and then it was this other lady. I think she's a Welsh, and her family's Welsh, and she did a what was it? She did a study on her family and kind of found out that her family was Jewish, and they were the largest slave traders in the United States, and they were in what country? What state was that? I think New York, New York. And then if you read Maryland, New York, all of those were like slave trading ports, and that's where all the money came in and stuff like that. So you go to New York, it's New York from the beginning, or at least from that, already had negative images and hated black people, I guess, or whatever. And also Maryland, and then down south and stuff. And so you got to really look at the whole big situation, what's really going on, why people being lazy and they can't do their own thing, and blah 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 this and blah that. But then you kind of think about it, Jewish people, is only a few of them, but then because they look white, which I guess some people say Jewish people, they don't consider themselves white. Some people think of them as black because of this and that, whatever. I don't know. It's all these crazy stories out there and stuff going on. But it was easy for them to manipulate other whites because they had someone else that they could say, well, hey, you're better than them. And, you can make up all these stories. But the whole, that book, I can't think of the name of the book. It was one, Black and Ivory. And the brother wrote that one. And then the other one was Tribes of something. I can't think of it. I can't find it. I wrote it down somewhere, and I do not see it. So I forgot where I wrote it, and it's on my Facebook. And gosh, I should have. Oh man. So I have to get on my Facebook, and if I remember, I'll put it in here. It was a YouTube video about it, and it was really interesting. The girl went back to Africa, and I guess her brothers, her family members, and they went and sat in the prisons where the slaves waited to get shipped off. And she said, or the guy said he sat there, or she said it, one of them, and they sat there and felt that it was even, they knew it was even said, they knew that they knew their family members who did that. They knew that their action was evil, but yet they still did it anyway. And it's for the money, but I think, then again, you could say, people just functioning off of their what is it called? Their their they're just getting high off their own emotions and stuff. So basically, what I'm thinking is, for me, my personal thoughts is that we are in a situation where I believe that we can get out of. Okay, if we can't get out of it, then still we shouldn't escalate it. Escalate the depopulation. You know what I say? And whatever. I don't know. It's because the hate that seems to be shown through television, there's a reason for it, and it would be nice to try to figure out what is the reason. Because is it possible that black people can reclaim all of America, all of the Americas, all of Americas, North, South, Central, and all of that stuff back, through the laws of the land? Is it possible that they could say, hey, this is ours, and they keep going to court, and finally, it's going to be theirs? Or is it possible because now that the birth rate of whites or Jewish people, whoever, is steadily decreasing, and if black people, black guys, young black men don't go to jail, and because of the sex and stuff, and our women are fertile, that we'll outnumber them, and then they'll, it's there's just so much that's just going on, But like I said, it's this programming. So basically, what I want to end on this note, saying that everyone is affected by that. And if you guys really sit down and really think about this, because like they talk about psychology and all this stuff, you got all these black people talking about all these psychologists and stuff, but all those psychiatrists were just Jewish psychiatrists and all this stuff, not philosophers, I think psychology, yeah. And all them guys were thinking in a certain way that helped them because we don't think the same. Everyone really do not think the same. You can think the same, but people don't function the same. I walk out in the sun and I'm energized. My body is hot. I mean, cool. My skin is cool. Other people walk out there who are lighter, and the more lighter you get, the hotter the sun burns and burns and burns. So there is a I guess, unfairness, I guess, if you want to call it, amongst the human beings and things like that. Um, if you want to call it like that, I guess, quote unquote, we all supposed to be family, we all should get along, but, this came into effect. Something happened, somebody somewhere said, hey, we could do this and got all high up the endorphins because, you can do it, and it is it is possible to have your success in doing that, and then you get other people to join you, then sure, you know. But what you guys do is you guys need to study this, understand this, write books, make rap songs, make videos, uh, talk about it in your schools, talk about it in Starbucks coffee, write letters to the president, to all these people, and you get everyone out there to let them know that, hey, this is what's going on in everyone's minds. And then what's going to happen is, and what's got to happen, is somebody somewhere going to say, okay, bam, everybody's waking up. And then when everybody wakes up, then they might have some propaganda. It's going to be a war going on. But if everybody wakes up, they can understand that, hey, it's not all about fighting a war. It's about living, and it's about this. And, people say, okay, well, this is what I know. You can't have a cop out there who understands this going to just purposely go and hurt somebody. You're not going to have these black kids, these white kids going out there and hurting people if they understand that. They're not going to do that. Most people do the crimes because of their program to this. This mind is all screwed up because we've been taught that your feelings are an instrument of judgment, and they are not at all. And you have all the control over your adrenaline. Like I was saying to my friends, put some bass in your voice, and it'll. I'm telling you, just bass in your voice, will make a lot of people cringe in your presence. So you think about why the Africans got deep voices and the blacks got, high voices, and maybe it was at that time when the slave masters, whoever, they started doing it, like, oh, these black people, when they speak with thunder, boom, and it was really scary, and they started changing them because when you speak to someone and you talk in a deep voice, it's intimidating. Okay, and what it does is it sends because the vibration of the bass hits your organs and everything releases. And some people don't know how to react, to just accept the feeling. People think, well, when it goes, you got to do this, you got to. Sometimes you can just take a deep breath and just relax and stuff. So, you guys want to get some women? Put bass in your voice, because all it's going to do is make them horny. Okay? If you guys want to get these cops off your back, then put some bass in your voice, and it'll make them back off. It will make a lot of people back off. As soon as you put that, and I'm telling you, it's so simple. But then some people think, because basically what it is when the body reacts and that pressure hits them, that vibration hits them, and causes that pressure to, you know, stress, I guess, pressure, just, a little force, and it releases so much whatever in your body that it's just like mess you over, and people just can't handle it. It's like, ugh. Like that foot massager I was telling y'all about. Y'all need to get a foot massager. I'm going to go get my foot massagers, package them up, see how much it costs to package them to Japan. If you guys want them, I will buy them for you. You send me the money, I'll buy them for you. And um, I'll buy them for you. Of course, I want some profit. And I'll send them to you. If you guys don't, you guys can do it yourselves. It'd be nice. Give you some ideas. You kick me back a little bit. But how can I say that? But yeah, you if you get a good massage and it goes to your body, how you supposed to accept, control that, So when you're talking with a bass, talking with bass in your voice, whoa, and it's like thunder, boom. You're like, whoa, what's going on? Who did that? And a lot of these Japanese guys out here, they got some deep voices. Oh man, it's really a trip. And like this one kid, I was at this nurse's school helping and stuff. This one dude was like a good maybe 45 feet away from me, and he was speaking. His voice was so deep that it sounded like this guy was standing right next to me talking, and he was like a good basketball court away from me, and I was like, wow, So I need to get my training and stuff up because just doing that, I'm telling you, you want a girl. You want to impress somebody, put some voice, because you got to understand that your body is able to be, because actually, you can control through sounds. You can control people more than you can than trying to control their brains. Because if you're constantly sending those boom, boom, and it's just releasing people, and people just can't walk, and they just, just it'll mess you up. I don't know if they've done experiments like that, but it's a trip. But I think it works like that. I'm talking too long. I'm gonna go do something. But anyway, yeah, the whole thing is these kids are just being bombarded by this. This is what's going on. This is the problem that's going on in the black neighborhoods. Everybody's doing this instead of doing that. If you do it because then you can actually it's a natural course that you'll actually pass through. It'll be a natural course, and if you teach everyone it's this natural course, and during this natural course, you can still be the baddest cool on the block, but you got this knowledge. So this knowledge is, it's not going to be in like fighting. But if you guys want to fight, then go ahead, practice, get it legally done and get some gloves so you don't really hurt two people too bad. Get out there and y'all want to box, because you want to make some money, or you just got this feelings that you want to get on the ground and wrestle with some other dude, then fine. You know what I'm saying? Go ahead. But it's always good to do that. I wouldn't say necessarily wrestle with other guys, but it's always good to test your strength. So you go out there and pick up a tree or pick up a car, because how strong a person really is, no one hasn't actually measured that. That's where they're doing it. And I'm gonna tell you, our how can I say that? Our advancements in the world really is behind. It really is. I think once the people took over, a lot of knowledge was destroyed based on ignorance and you know the reactions based on the feelings, and then people put this God thing in, and they had to train everyone to start over because everybody's running around here just getting high off their own emotions. And you guys got to stop that. Please do this. It's really simple. I have, I do things, with my son, and I really changed like this morning. He kept messing with my wife's phone, and I keep telling him to stop, and he got in his own mind that he can do it. So I got mad at him, and I picked him up, and he all fighting against me and stuff. And I said, well, you're too weak. You really can't do anything. And then I put him down. I kind of like gave him a little push. He fell on the ground, and he got up and he walked by me, and then he punched me. But when we're doing that, I'm saying, I said, listen, you're getting upset and you're finding us, you causing a problem, and then because you're causing a problem, you're creating a reaction that can only be dealt with by physically, uh, by on any other means but physical contact. But yet you're losing. And so either you got two things to do. You need to stop creating these situations where, someone stronger is going to come and actually physically discipline you. Or you got to wait until you get older. But then by the time you get older, that situation is going to be gone. And especially if you're short, I mean, like me, I was in Osaka and I met this one brother. He's an engineer. He lives in Nagoya. It dude was like 6'10", 6'11", and I was like, "What's up?" How back in the old days, hug and everything. Dude, man, grabbed my hand. It was like if I was holding a baby's hand. He just strong. I was like, "Whoa!" I was like, "Dang, man, you strong." He started laughing. His friends all started laughing. I'm looking at myself, thinking to myself, now how is it, because I'm always thinking about when I meet these brothers, back in the slave days, if he was a slave being that strong, how is it that he could be so strong, but yet so submissive at the same time? Because I can't really get the two, but I do if this, and it's funny because you got all, because like I was telling one of my friends, Chris, because he always having problems and stuff, and different things, and it's not even with Japanese people, just different things going on, and well, actually, I do have some problems, but they're like really mild stuff, but I don't have any problems and stuff where it's like some really big problems. But I told him, I said, hey, your only problem is you just not taking care of yourself, will you be? I'm like, man, go to the gym and buff up. I said, there's no reason why you walking down the street as tall as you are, and you should be buffed, get some strength, and people don't, and short people don't move out of your way. There is no reason why they should move out of your way. Okay, now I can understand you got the laws and people got their pride and all of that stuff, and the only reason people smaller usually win against somebody's bigger, especially if the bigger person is stronger, is I mean, if it's in a controlled atmosphere, you always need some type of weapon or some type of something that can offset the bigger person's strength, or quickness or whatever, But I'm saying if you buff up, I said, listen, I don't have the problems you have with people just walking up to me and bumping into. Well, a couple of guys. One guy, he was taller than me. Japanese guy bumped into me. He was young. I just looked at him. He looked at me. I just started laughing because I thought it was funny and stuff. But actually getting into fist fights, and and a lot of people say, well, that's because you tall and you big. I said, well, I keep myself in shape, and people, when they look at me, and they want to come after me, they gonna think that, hey, uh, a smart person who knows math is gonna understand. It doesn't really matter how big you are. It's the how much force you can create to uh, push, how much force you can create behind whatever object. So that's what guns are. Bullets really is. It's just a force. It's an object, a hard object that has a lot of force behind it, and when it goes through and hits your body, it puts you down. And that's all it is. It's just it's like a fist. You know, and so recently he said he got buffed up, and the guys slowly but surely left him alone. The ones that usually bothered him, and no one bothers him anymore. And his muscles starting to pop out, and I was laughing because, he was like, well, you've been telling me this for the longest time, and blah blah blah. And I was like, yeah, you do that. The girls will come to you, and when the girls come to you, you see some guys that want a girl. Introduce the girls to the guys. I mean, we all know that these Japanese girls out here, they players. Actually, Sometimes I'll just introduce a guy to a girl, probably because if he's a jerk, I just introduce him to one of the girls because I know she's gonna jerk him over. And that's funny because we always talk about that, man. Yeah, you got a homie you don't like, man. You set him up with a certain Japanese girl, and she gonna put her straight. Because a lot of guys, they run it back home to the sisters. You got these. I'm telling you, on my players list, and I'm getting off subject. But my players list, you got these guys now. When I first talked to her, yeah, sisters no good, sisters, man. You get a taste of these Japanese girls. Now they got these pictures, all these sisters on Facebook, all up on the list, and they tell me I'm getting tired of Japanese girls. Actually, black women, they aren't as bad, and they are beautiful, and blah 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 blah. And I just start laughing, and some of them can't even go home because they married or whatever. Or they just stuck in a situation, or I don't know, maybe it's I mean, I wouldn't say it's the romance, but maybe it's the style or the freedom of not, being harassed by the cops all the time and stuff like that, because it's a trip. But like I said, a lot of your situations that you have in your life is like this. Okay, now the knockout game, if the televisions are doing propaganda where they're actually saying get out, they're causing more guys to get out there and hurt black people. Well, okay, sure, that could be the case, because when they put the gun up there and the guy was holding the gun and stuff in that video, Tariq said it was a white hand on a white gun and stuff, but it could have, of course, we can attribute it to being how can I say, to what he said it. But then it's also another one where they're saying go out and buy guns, and it could have just been a sales propaganda too, and white people go out there and buy guns. I mean, you got white people, they got so many guns that they can't handle all them guns if something going to happen and stuff like that. So, yeah, it's really interesting and stuff. Come in. Come in. Come in. Come in. Come in. That's my friend. Wait, hold on. Hello. Come in. Come in. You want to come in? You want to come in? Yeah, it's been a long time. What are you doing now? Right now making a video. Oh, video. Yeah. Yeah. I cannot find out. Yeah. Sometimes I'm not here. Yeah. You want to come in? Come in. Really? Yeah, it's okay. Come in. Okay, sorry about that. Mr. Nakashima, he's here. He's an old man, about 60-some years old, or 70-something. So anyway, basically, you guys, this is what's going on. This is what's going on in the world. And until you realize, hello, those are hi there. Hey. Until you realize what's actually going on, then you're not going to fix the problems that you have. You're not going to fix them. So please work on those problems and stuff, because this is the key to your mental freedom. And the end result, once you're free, the end result is going to be probably direct confrontation. And that's what I said, black people's biggest weakness, or whomever in the world, is your lack of defense. And you can't, without knowledge, you can't build defense. And that's the purpose, and that's the problem. Okay? So anyway, I'm out. Peace.